Okay, sorry for that delay, for this whole entire commentary, once again. But anyways, hey, what's up everybody? It is the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm of course back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our brand new Let's Play. And because of that, we're now going on to the Nintendo Wii once again. And the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that we are actually playing the last Rayman Raving Rabbids game for quite a long time now, and that's what appears to be Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party. So, kind of a weird name, but first of all, let's watch this opening sequence. So yeah, it turns out that we ended up inside the TV. So yeah, as I mentioned this before, here we are onto the forms of the third Rayman Raving Rabbids game on the Nintendo Wii. And this time around, we are playing Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party. And can you turn that brightness down for goodness sake, Rabbid? You're trying to mess up my recording. Even though despite you are blind there. So anyway, so let's go ahead and press the A button right here, and basically that'll take us to the file selection screen, just like in the forms of the original Rayman Raving Rabbids, along with the forms of Rabbids Go Home. So because of that though, yeah, I can't even believe it's been about almost like 10 years since I actually last touched this game. I think the last time that, well, I did already mention about this, didn't I? Let's just forget about that earlier. But anyways, let's type in my name, and of course you can able to actually press what icon you're going to be able to be selecting. So in this case my name is Sonic after all, and of course I'm in right-handed. You can choose either left-handed or right-handed, but I'm going to go stuck with right-handed for now on. So because of that though, I should be all set on all that stuff. But before we dive right in, yes, we got ourselves the Wii Motion Wii Balance Board, but I don't have that at the moment. So because of that though, yeah, we'll dive right into the forms of Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party. And at the moment, the main focus of this Let's Play in general is that we're going to be hit on to the forms of solo mode, in this case, story mode. So, yeah, the actual big selling point of this game, though, is the fact that, obviously, with how this game managed to able to include the Wii Balance Board accessory, but obviously I can't show you that off because, well, obviously that it seems pretty useless to me though. And of course there are some other modes you can check out, such as Party Mode, which is basically multiplayer, Trading if you want to practice mini-games, or you can able to actually go into World Contest, which actually functions as the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection in this game. But after all, this is 2021, this meaning about the fact that the online on the Wii service is dead. Unless there's actually a mod they can able to actually hack into it, but I don't feel like trying to do that though at the moment. So anyway, let's hit into solo mode, and as you can tell, it usually divides into days. So because of this though, at the moment we only got 0% progression, and of course if you really want to progress for the game, you have to be sure you need to able to complete certain days for certain well, times and all that stuff in the actual channels. And because of this though, For instance, in order to move on to the next day, we need to complete about, let's just say, 5 minigames. So, we'll start with this first one right here, which appears to be 7 AM to 9 AM. And if we dive right in, then you can choose up to like 7 minigames at the moment, such as, for instance, one of them from Trash TV, and as well as Jam Sports, and as well as the forms of Cult Movies, and also Raving Channel, and Monocro TV, and Groovy On, and Dance TV. But for the moment, for the time being, let's focus on the first minigame, and this comes from Trash TV. And the minigame itself is called, it's Strawberry Fields New Jersey. So even then, or Jersey, as far as I like to say this for this point. So yeah, basically, before you dive into the minigame, much like in the original Rayman Raving Rabbids, along with Rayman Raving Rabbids 2, that you get yourselves the actual explanation of how the controls work. And for this minigame, all you have to do is basically you have to tilt the Wii Remote sideways, and then, well, left and right, and just press 2 to able to accelerate, and then if you hold down the A button while turning the Wii Remote, you can able to actually just not only try to drift, but also just trying to able to get your boost gauge increased. So either way though. And finally, if you're trying to shake down the Wii Remote while just trying to do a quick flicking thing, then basically you would be able to do some sort of like a boost. So in this case, the first minigame is basically like a racing minigame. So nothing special there, but apart from the fact that we can able to actually just well, utilize the forms of the actual boost gauge and stuff like that, and you can also just manage to able to knock out all of the racers if you wanted to, which is pretty satisfying, all things considered. And of course, in order to able to get 100% in the game, is that you get up to not only just trying to beat your high scores, well, this time around though, well, we'll get to that once we finish this minigame first, but also get this, is that the reason why I'm going to take this route right here, or route, depending on what country you lived in, is that I've got myself a little gift present. And basically what that gift present does to you is that it actually once again gives you certain costumes, which even though it's kind of similar to the ones and how it does in the Rayman Raving Rabbids 2, and well, except the fact that in order to able to actually get costumes in this game this time around, is that in addition to grabbing those little gift presents, but also you're gonna have to beat the actual high score. So, for instance, for example, I managed to able to get into first place, and because of that though, that gives me a certain amount of points, and that leads me up to 18,000 points or something, or 18,035 points. And basically, if I manage to able to beat the high score, that actually gives me another one of those accessory fashion costumes for certain Rabbids and stuff like that. Like, as you can see, you need to beat 15,000 points this time around, as opposed to 12,000 points from the likes of Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. So, it's definitely a little bit more trickier, but either way though, I will try my best if I was going to try to go for 100%, but if not, then I'm also able to move on. So, anyways, now we're done with that, and let's move on to the next channel, which is 9 AM to 12 PM, which that pretty much leads us to the afternoon, eventually. So, in this case, I believe the next minigame will show off is Night of the Zombies, and this comes from Cult Movies. So, I actually do like these kinds of minigames, because it reminds me of so much of those you know, the shooting range minigames from both Rayman Raving Rabbids as well as Rayman Raving Rabbids 2, if you played those before. Except the fact that, well, if you couldn't tell already, it's the fact that obviously this time around though, we're no longer going to be playing as Rayman this time around, which, the reason being for this is because we are forced to play as Rabbids, because those Rabbids are pretty much stuck inside the TV, which, because of the forms of that lightning strike, and because of that though, it instantly transported to the actual aerial kind of lead, and basically they just got trapped inside the actual TV, and basically Rayman just touches the actual the switch for the TV, and basically that just gets the Rabbids and a different look to it, like a cartoony-ish 2D little, I don't know what you would call them, but I digress. So today's day is of course the 2nd of April today, so again I must admit that I do apologize for the actual uploading delays and stuff like that, but we are getting there though, we are getting on track for this point, and oh, it looks like someone just interrupts the actual whole scene. So in this case the judge is thinking that, get out of there, get out of the studio. Like for instance, we're gonna take care of this rabbit chicken. So in this minigame, is that obviously you're gonna have to shoot out those different kinds of, well, what-ifs, costumes in the actual movies. Like for instance, in this particular Night of the Zombies minigame, you have to shoot out a whole bunch of rabbit chicken costumes. However, if you accidentally shoot the main actors, as you can tell, along with these zombies, if you accidentally shoot them, you lose points. So, and of course, much like the forms of Rayman Raving Rabbids and Rayman Raving Rabbids 2, that you do need to acquire a nunchuck in order to be able to play this minigame, because that's what the reload ammo count comes in. So for instance, if I see that little ding, reload, and then just flick the nunchuck, just like the forms of how it does it previously. So, there's nothing new here, aside from the fact that this time around, though, it takes place in the movies, not so much in the forms of, destroying the actual world, enthusiasm, and also, reality worlds, like the ones in Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. And thankfully, we don't need to worry about the forms of, some weird FMV, depth perception errors. So, at least thankfully, we can able to actually shoot those you know, chicken rabbits super easily. But there are some other variations of these as well, which we'll get to that at some point until the next day, which is Tuesday. So, however, here's the thing though, is the fact that we obviously going to be uploading these during the forms of Fridays, Mondays, and Wednesdays essentially. So, it might be a bit of an oddity when it comes to the forms of this specific system, but let's face it, is that, well, it's pretty obvious that you remember how yesterday we've actually finished up with Super Mario 64 DS recently, and also that we will eventually try to able to go back into the Mario Party series, likely Mario Party 4, until tomorrow anyway, for those of you who aren't able to know the spoilers already. So, yeah, I must admit though, that's one able to get that out of the way. So, and by the way, you notice with that little combo numbers, as you can see on the top left corner, the more you hit those, you know, the rabbit chickens is for a certain amount of time, you would be able to actually get yourselves a good amount of extra points if you managed to able to get your good combo going. And to top it off, you can also just manage to able to achieve bonus points if you manage to hit a certain amount of, you know, chicken rabbits. Like, for instance, in the third and the final scene, is that basically we need to shoot down 9 chickens. And if you accomplish that, well, it doesn't matter how many chicken rabbits you can able to shoot. So if you manage to get more, then you're able to actually get even more points. So, yeah, it's probably best you can able to recommend trying to able to concentrate here, because otherwise, if you manage to concentrate hard enough, and if you're trying to able to shoot down the majority of those chicken rabbits, then obviously you would be able to get yourselves a whole good amount of points. So, and once we make our way to the end, then the minigame's done. And obviously that they'll just get eaten by the zombies like a zombie eclipse. And it does say to be continuous, meaning there's going to be more to it than that. So yeah, I do like these kinds of minigames like this, even though it might tend to get dragged on a bit, but regardless of everything else though, I don't think it's not that bad, honestly. So, anyways, that's that done, and now let's move on to the next minigame, ranging from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. So now we're on to the afternoon channels, as far as I'm aware. So we can either go on to Pimp My Rabbit, or yeah, let's do this one over there, not the one on the forms of the third channel, because we're going to be hit on to the next category of minigames, which is based on from Jam Sports. And basically, we're just got to able to pass through the gates and beat the best time as possible. So that's all essentially how you're going to do for this minigame. So, of course, you can able to actually utilize with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck if you wanted to, so I think that seems the case, which does seem to required. However, there are some minigames that, much like in Rayman Raving Rabbids and Rayman Raving Rabbids 2, that there are certain minigames that, once again, still requires both Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo at the same time. So, yeah, that's something worth noting about. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, you know what I mean. And I do apologize for the actual background noise you'll be hearing, just because our dog keeps on barking a lot, which is a bit irritating. But I'll try to sort that out at some point whenever we get on to the next part. So, yeah, a few things I want to explain is the fact that, obviously, well, I've already mentioned about this before, is the fact that today's day is, of course, the 2nd of April today, in this case in 2021, and, things get all pretty fine and dandy, except there are a few issues with it. Like, let's get to the negative things out of the way. First of all, what's really annoying for this point today is that LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, the game, has been delayed again. And I was like, for goodness sake. Although, to be fair though, it's nothing to do with the forms of that other thing, like I'm not gonna mention that word ever again, but, they just need to get some more time to develop the actual game. Even though, to be fair though, is the fact that the actual visuals, whenever they managed to solve the first trailer of the game, back in during the forms of the Game of the Year Awards in 2019 or something, basically it's the fact that you do realize is the fact that the visuals do look a bit unchanged, just ever since in the Wii days. So, at least as far as I'm aware. So, anyway, but, at least the WB games are working super hard though, so at least I can understand. So, especially noticeable that unlike in certain other games like, well, let's just say, Cyberpunk 2077 or 2077, that, sometimes, the actual game, when a game came out, then it'll just be like, it just feels kind of unfinished. But thankfully, that game were able to get itself a patch eventually, so at least you got that. So, yeah, that's as far as I can usually try and describe about that specific scenarios like this. So, as you can see, I did manage to miss out on that present earlier, which, thankfully, if you managed able to get your high score, and then if you press try again, basically, you know that gift that I've got, or that one of those accessories I got? Thankfully, you can able to retry that minigame again, and thankfully you can keep that little Rabbids accessory with you. So thankfully you don't have to able to beat the high score again. So in this case I'm going back there again, and except this time around though, I'm going to be trying to go after that present like I mentioned this before. So yeah, anyway, and another thing I want to point out as well, that sensed out about the fact that the Tom and Jerry the Movie 2021 has been officially came out on, you know, demand or anything else like that in the UK, and it's usually now available on Sky Store recently for premiere's sake, just like in the forms of Scoop from 2020. However though, I will have to admit though right away, for what I've seen the actual reviews of Tom and Jerry the Movie, you know with the most, excuse me, the most recent film in the series, and I'm gonna say, I think the critics seems able to actually give the film like a 25 out of 100 or something, which, maybe it's because of the forms of that, it's just the fact that they just seem to say that they've seen these little, you know, film styles like this so many times before, since, Who Framed Roger Rabbit and stuff like that, which I have no idea why, how do I explain this right now? Just because of how the fact that, well, I'm just a little bit too... Well, if you couldn't tell for this point already, I think I actually got myself my dry throat, so forgive me if the forms of my commentary gets a bit, you know, slightly iffy for this point today, but eventually, whenever we get on to Monday, then I would able to actually give myself a much more better commentary, believe me. So, yeah, there are some other leaks on certain Nintendo stuff that has been happened, but none of this is true though. So, like, for instance, that I don't know if they're going to be able to bring into ourselves, in fact, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day, that what you think about the forms of the new Tom and Jerry movie that just came out on, you know, let's just say during the forms of, you know, demand, or, you know, just download home on demand kind of thing. That's, because, unfortunately, well, that film does technically already exist on the big screen since about, February or something, but even then, I seem to lost count on it. So, anyway, so let's move on to the next minigame. Let's just go ahead and do, yeah, let's do Raving Angel. So, because of this, though, I definitely heard about this one, and this is from, Mako TV. So, it feels a little bit more likely an extreme channel or something. So, yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and just dive right in, and oh boy, we have to go through rings, aren't we? So, but thankfully though, that it might not be so bad, as long as you would be able to try to get used to with motion controls, so... And by the way, this game also came out on a Nintendo DS, which kind of feels like the same thing as, well, let's just say Rayman Raving Rabbids 2, that, I'm presuming that the DS version also has minigames into it, so not much else new from here, so, and one thing I do like about this is that much like in Rayman Raving Rabbids 1 and Rayman Raving Rabbids 2, that every time whenever you get into a new minigame, or just any minigames in general, basically they'll just give ourselves this little nice little cinematic scenes. So at least that's something to able to enjoy to watch at least. But however, there are some minigame exceptions though, mainly with the forms of Groovy On channel, and especially noticeable with the forms of Shake It Up kind of TV channel and stuff. And dang it, I missed the gift present. Thankfully we can try again, so I'm also able to try to like do this in a second attempt, but hopefully though, every time whenever you're trying to able to go ahead and just try to redo the minigame again, thankfully you can able to actually skip those little cinematics and stuff like that. So yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. But anyway though, another thing I just want to explain, oh yeah, with the forms of that, the new Mario Party game, which I was hoping they were able to make it happen during at some point this year, because after all, we have not seen a new Mario Party game ever since Super Mario Party came out on the Nintendo Switch in 2018. But at least that game has been super successful, mainly with sales and all that stuff though. Certainly a lot more better than the forms of certain sale points when it comes to the forms of Star Rush and the Top 100, because those games are on the 3DS. Although, mind you though, I'm pretty sure that the Top 100 Mario Party game does sell the worst, just because it was on the 3DS to begin with, so that might be seems a little bit more controversial for saying this, because although I do like the idea, but execution-wise, it feels a bit too lacking to me though. And by the way, something worth mentioning is that you can either choose between either the blue path or the red path. The blue one is actually the easiest one, and then if you go for the red portal, basically it just gets everything else extreme. Like, basically, just you have to dodge a lot of hard obstacles and all that stuff. And at the end, though, you have to pick up your boost speed, and then if you go bypass through a lot of rings, then basically you would able to make your way to the end. And, ooh, I think I've got enough for, you know, the actual high school gift. So, awesome stuff. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to the next minigame, and, yeah, not much else to say for this point right here. And of course, we only got one minigame left once we proceed to the next day. So, yeah, let's move on to 4 PM to 6 PM this time. And, let's see what minigames what we're going to be having for. Oh, I remember this one. Dad's Army. And I remember this minigame, actually, fondly, so much. Just because, well, to me, though, this minigame is pretty cool. Because, although you're going to have to do a lot of, like, you know, just a lot of motion controls here and there. But you can able to do 4 movesets, such as, for instance, clean your ears and also shave the beard. And also you can able to brush the teeth and use the deodorant at any point. So, yeah, I do like this one. But anyway, they just managed to put up a leak about the forms of the new Mario Party game, which apparently that game is going to be called Mario Party Star Festival, but before I double check on the image, although it looks promising, but I don't think that's gonna come true, just because, well, it doesn't have a trademark or anything else like that, so yeah, I can highly doubt it will be a fake anyway, so, and plus not to mention though, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure that the actual, the checkerboard, colorful pattern with the actual, letters and stuff feels a bit, I don't know, mismatched? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens during at some point during like, let's say next 2 months or something. So yeah, in this minigame right here is the fact that all you have to do is just follow this little, you know, motion, you know, just do a lot of motion kind of controls thing. I have no idea. It's kind of hard to explain at this point right now, just because, again, it has been like a couple of years since I actually last touched this, so Anyway, so let's go ahead and keep on ranking up some more points. And, oh, what's this? We have the first advert in a game. So there are a few rare occasions where basically that if you see the actual advert, you know, the symbol pops up. Basically, you have to press the 1 button quickly, and then if you manage to able to do some sort of like a quick time event, and basically if you manage to do it successfully, then you would able to actually get yourselves your a big of improvements. Like for instance, if you manage to able to achieve that, you're able to get yourselves bonus amount of points if you move on to the next round. And I think that's pretty much how that goes. So it gets a bit crazy though until when we get to the forms of round 11 all the way up to round 16. Just because, you know, everything else goes a little bit fast, and you have to be fast on this though, because otherwise if you're trying to able to do it perfectly, like I almost trying to do, but oh, I managed to done it perfectly, but I did occasionally get goods. So yeah, pretty swell stuff. And of course, since I got myself a top-notch new record, so this means I got myself another accessory for the Rabbid I can customize. So anyways, 5 minigames done, and as you can see, we can now move on to the next day, which is Tuesday, but I'll save that until for later. So because of that though, let's move on to the next minigame. Let's do a very rapid show, and this comes from Raving channel, so yeah, this sure is gonna be something to able to be pleased to looking forward to, so and of course we do need able to, I think we're gonna have to grab the microphone in order to able to keep, to get ranked up more points and stuff. And of course, you can able to use the Wii pointer for the lights, and then use the control stick to move, and then press the B button to hit the opponents. So, yeah, that's how this minigame works. So, in fact, this minigame can be quite difficult though sometimes, mainly because of the forms of those computer players manage to keep on, like, cornering me, which we'll point it out whenever we're able to get that minigame started, so. And of course, they've managed to able to get the massive blackout, so that's what the Wiimote comes in. So, hopefully, we should be able to find the microphone as much as we can. Such as one over there, but of course, since I was too late, because that particular computer player managed to get it before me. And look, before I grabbed the microphone, they managed to run slightly faster than me whenever I grabbed the microphone. So yeah, this is without a doubt one of the trickiest minigames to get a high score. Just because, well, it's just that the Rabbids moves a lot faster, while any other Rabbids, aside from me... Oh, sweet, another advert. And this is actually... Oh, looks like we have ourselves the familiar music in the background, which I'm pretty sure it was actually Toxic, which, I do know what, who is by, whoever did this, song, but, I've seemed able to lost count on it, just because it has been quite a few days since I actually did manage to... Ah, damn it, I just got cornered. I think it's mainly because those objects are in my way, so, that's a bit of a nuisance. But anyway, once you managed able to did the quick time event correctly on that, specifically on this minigame, this allows you to able to actually move a little bit faster. So, only for about a few seconds or something, so, yeah, there's not much else to say. So, yeah, that's pretty much how that goes, basically, with this minigame, as well as... Oh, jeez! Ah, dang it, they just obviously got me. Oi. Ah, jeez, I always get cornered. Seriously, that's the hardest part about this minigame for me, is that sometimes if you think you're about to try to run faster while you're trying to grab the microphone, and most of the time you always get cornered by any other opponents super easily, like that. So, yeah, I don't think I can get the high score from this minigame, sadly, but close enough though, just close enough. But, at least I'm in third somehow. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. You'll win for this point right there. Anyways, let's move on to the last minigame for Monday, and this takes place in 8 PM to 10 PM. And which minigame should we go for this time? Tell you what, let's go ahead and do, you know what, let's do Prison Fake. Because, after all, that we're actually going to be breaking out from prison, which I know is definitely a little bit illegal, but I don't know. But anyways, in this minigame is the fact that we need to be the first to go through those little lit tunnels. And if you manage to go through those tunnels, then you would able to get some points. So, yeah, that's basically how this minigame works. And it kind of reminds me like Pumper Cars from the likes of Mario Party 8, except the fact that, well, this time around though, you can now use the directional pad to basically just move your, well, the Pumper Car and stuff like that. So yeah, that seems kind of interesting. So, yeah, there's not much else I can say in terms of today's video for this point, guys. I would like to mention about more things, but for now on, though, we'll just mainly focus on this from now on, and I'm sure enough that some Toys else will mention more news about other things until whenever they get on to Mario Party 4. So, yeah, that seems a little bit obvious. So, anyway. Of course, this minigame can be a bit tricky sometimes, mainly just because of this. Mainly because of, once again, computer players will sometimes screw you up if you're trying to able to go for those tunnels. But, because sometimes if they manage to able to collide each other, you'll have to force to go to the other side of the road. And, oh, speaking of such, we have another advert. And I think this is Rayman Raving Rabbids 16. And basically, he's playing ping pong, but we're gonna have to able to toss that little, item right into his face. And basically, that gives me an extra boost. So, yeah, if you're trying to able to waggle the Wiimote up and down, so, yeah, there's not much else to say here. Yeah, I do like this minigame, because it feels like, kind of similar to the forms of, you know, very Rabbids show, except the fact that, thankfully, though, you can able to actually just try to able to... it's kind of hard to explain, because I know it has been donkey's years since I actually last played this, so... And if you go through enough tunnels, and if you manage to get the high score, then that's it. I'm pretty sure you're able to actually go through, like, 4 tunnels or something, or 5 tunnels, I'm not exactly sure, I think I've lost count. But anyway, so now we've able to actually got the high score from the likes of this minigame, and I think that pretty much takes care of Monday. So, yeah, I guess we'll pretty much get out the ending stuff at this point right here. So, yeah, join me next time on Let's Play Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party. It's that we're going to be hit on to the next day, which appears to be Tuesday. And once again, we are playing a whole bunch of minigames that we can show off. Even though there might be some exceptions, which I'll talk more about that on Monday. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.